Hey guys, my name is Graham Johnson. Welcome back to Tabletop Glory, and today we're going to be talking about how to paint Bossk. Now we're going to be doing him in a rather simple paint scheme, and we can actually knock him out quite quickly. However, I want to take a minute to talk about the support that you guys have been showing me, and specifically the support of all donations, regardless of their size or quantity or frequency or whatever you want to call it. Thank you guys so much to those of you who have donated, whether you've donated miniatures for me to paint, you've bought something off the Amazon wish list, or you've even just sent a cash donation of some kind. And specifically, I would like to give a thank you to my current and only Patreon, Brandon P. Brandon, you have become an amazing friend of mine over the last, I want to say almost 2 years. It's probably been closer to 1, but it feels like a long time. Thank you so much for all the love and support that not only everyone, but you yourself have shown this channel. And I want to say thank you for believing in me. It isn't without your support that, well, I don't think Tabletop Glory would be what it is, let alone I'm not even sure if it would be here. You have shown me that this is worth doing and that you believe in me as a content creator, and I am very grateful. Now I've babbled on enough. Let's get on with the video. So I'm just going to let this play out here while I talk for a second. We did Cassandora yellow and Yeandrin yellow. Yeandrin is going all over everything. It's a nice bright vibrant yellow, whereas Cassandora's got more some orange tones when it pools in shadows. And I'm going to kind of layer that up to create both the skin layer and the scale layer and this flight suit as well. If you want to use some Fugan Orange or some Seraphim Sepia, that'd also be a really great way to kind of dial in all the depth in those scales depending upon how dark you want it. Now this is just a quick and easy paint scheme, something that's going to look not only good in your hand but good on the table. This was a quick and dirty commission as part of a much larger commission. So the person who commissioned me didn't want anything super fancy, so this is just a good, quick, and easy way to knock out this model. Now at the beginning I gave a big shout out to Brandon, but as well as to everyone who has supported this channel in some way, shape, or form. There's actually a lot of great ways that you can do that even for free. A lot of you don't seem to understand that both liking the video as well as leaving some kind of comment is also a great way to boost us in the algorithm. You don't have to just subscribe to be able to show support for free. You can do those as well. And even sharing the video, if you share it out to your social media or to any kind of painting groups, if anybody watches it there, that really helps to boost it in the algorithm and really shows YouTube that this is something that's worth pushing out to more people here on this platform. Now, if you'd like to support directly through financial means, there's a lot of great ways to do that, whether it be through Patreon or even direct donations through something like PayPal, and all of those can be found in the link down below in my link tree. Now, I mentioned the Amazon wish list. The Amazon wish list is filled with items that I have really neat ideas for, and not all of them seem very obvious. There's some anime figures there that I would like to do a video about repainting figurines and how to paint on top of that cheaper PVC plastic to make it look like a more expensive figurine, so you can get more bang for your buck when you buy at conventions. So if that's something you guys are interested in and you wouldn't mind supporting the channel by picking up one of those figurines, you will get a free shout out for anything purchased off the Amazon wish list. In any case, that's enough self-promotion. Let's get back to the tutorial. Moving on to Mephiston Red, there is this pipe that connects his back to his chest. It can be a little bit tricky to get in between his arms and the guns. If you end up making a mark somewhere else on the model, as long as you're quick with it, you can wash out your brush and then wipe away the spot where you've made that mark, and it should come off quite quickly. It's a really great way to kind of use your brush as an eraser. In addition to this, there is also the cowling around the neck that also needs to be painted in the same color red. Now you could hit this with some kind of a wash, maybe be Agrax Earthshade or something of that nature. However, if you want to indicate some kind of ribbing on the tube that connects his back to his chest, you are going to have to paint that by hand, as that tube is flat and flush. It looks as though there's a bit of ribbing, but if you apply a wash to that, it is so shallow that it is just going to coat the entire thing, and you're just going to be better off painting those ribs by hand. Don't forget to paint his belt as long as you've got the red out. Now, I have seen some reference images where it appears to be a slightly brighter red, maybe an off orange. That's entirely up to you. Again, I'm just making this look good on tabletop, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the same color for that belt. One thing to note though, we want to try and keep our line work as clean as we can when being around any of the white part of the jumpsuit, as that's going to be really difficult to paint on top of. I'm trying to do my best to maintain the primed white so that when I do layer in my white here in just a second, it's going to be a lot easier. And as you can see, putting this pure white on top of the primed white is really nice and convenient. And you can see I'm even adding some shading simply by not taking this pure white all the way up into the cracks and crevices and staying away from any of the ruffles in the fabric. And it's just doing some natural shading for me, leaving that off-white gray color in those recesses. Now, if you have a pure white that you used as your primer layer and you didn't do some kind of zenithal highlight like I did, that's no big deal here. You can mix up a little bit of an off gray with a tiny bit of black and white and apply that as a wash all over into those recesses before applying your bright white, and you'll end up with a very similar effect. Now, Bossk has a few of these little ports on his flight suit, and those tend to be some kind of a dark gray or dark metallic gray. You could choose to use a gunmetal black. In my case, with me just going for a tabletop standard, I'm opting to use Abaddon black on anything that looks black. I'm not really looking for color accuracy or screen accuracy here, and I'm doing the same thing around those little parts of his legs, where I can't tell if those are like a little ammo pouch or maybe some kind of little medicine pouch or something like that, but I'm painting all of those black as well. Don't forget the shoulder straps and the little gaskets around the arm next to the elbows as well. And last but not least, you want to use a dark metallic to paint the weapon. Now, in my case, I am using Gunmetal Gray by Vallejo. It's one of my all-time favorite colors to use for any Star Wars handheld weapons. However, if you don't have this paint, it's not the end of the world. You can either mix a little bit of Abaddon black with some Iron Breaker or Lead Belcher, or you can put a couple of heavy black washes on top of a similar silver color, and you should end up with a very similar effect. Now, if you like it to be a little bit more shiny than that, you can always add a little bit of a silver dry brush on top, but honestly, I think it looks great with just the bare gunmetal. And there you have it, guys. Short and simple. Short and simple, to the point. There we go. We got Bossk from Star Wars. This one is from the Imperial Assault Range, but you could use this to paint any Bossk miniature for tabletop games. I had a blast painting this guy. I thought he was a lot of fun. He was a pretty simple and straightforward guy. You could do some really cool, wild stuff with this if you really wanted to spend the time on it. In any case, my name has been Graham Johnson. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Tabletop Glory. And as always, may your display case always be filled and your pile of shame never run empty.